I used to think if I died in an evil place, then my soul wouldn't be able to make it to heaven. But now, fuck. I mean, I don't care where it goes, as long as it ain't here.
I'm Bencho. This is Flash, a series where I give you my first impressions on games I've been playing, new or old. Today, that game is Forever Winter, a tactical survival horror shooter released to early access September 24th, 2024, not too long ago. Forever Winter takes place in an apocalyptic future where three world powers battle endlessly for supremacy of a planet they are ripping apart piece by piece. A living, breathing, active war zone crawling with war machine abominations, each with the single-minded purpose of annihilating the enemy for their masters. Glassed cityscapes are a canvas for the war effort, a picture painted in blood and metal and gunpowder and fear by slaves of war and machines built for murder and subjugation. Where do you come in? Are you one of these abominations? Are you one of these killing machines walking over fields of the dead, leaving more in your wake? Absolutely not. You're mere inches away from becoming part of the scenery. You're a circumstance of your birth, a number, a statistic. And unfortunately for you and everyone else, you're still alive. In Forever Winter, you take on the role of a scavenger, or scav, as the game calls it, living underground trying to eke out a living amongst the chaos. Your job is relatively simple. Venture out to the surface, scavenge what you can from the wastes, and return alive. I've played Forever Winter for about 5 or 6 hours now since its release in early access, and I can safely say of all the survival looter shooters out there, like Tarkov, Dark and Darker, this one manages to stand out above the rest. The vibes are immaculate as wandering a battlefield full of juiced up murder bots can feel. The gameplay loop is pretty straightforward in Forever Winter. You have a hub world that needs supplies to survive. In the case of this game, the most desirable resource is water. And if they don't get these supplies, you lose access to vendors and your gear. You can venture out on your own or with friends to gather these supplies. If you're successful, the loot you bring back will help sustain the hub and fund upgrades for your character's arsenal for future forays. But if you fail, you lose everything you brought with you. So it's a high-risk, high-reward, roguelike shooter. Most, if not all, other games of similar genres usually pit players against each other as a test of skill. What makes Forever Winter stand out from the rest is that it's entirely a cooperative experience. When you leave the safety of your home base called the Innards, you're thrown onto an active battlefield riddled with powerful super soldiers and war machines, all controlled by AI, that could kill your character with a glance. Your only saving grace being is that these AI could give less than a shit about you. Let me tell you that it is so cool and incredibly horrifying to be slinking around in the shadows of a battlefield, watching platoons of soldiers flanked by mechs, having an all-out skirmish in real time around you. This world does not care about you. If you get killed, it's not because you were the target, you were simply in the way. It provides this unique experience of having to really plot out your routes and consider what risks you're willing to take. Sometimes it pays just to sit back and watch a firefight play out because all the remaining bodies and destroyed war machines all bear loot ripe for the scavenging. You're encouraged to lurk, encouraged to play unfair, because at the end of the day, all's fair in love and war. When I watched Forever Winter's game announcement earlier this year and heard they boasted a robust AI system where NPCs carried out their own missions, responded to the environment, and made decisions despite player interference, I was ready to call bullshit. It's not the first time a studio has claimed the idea of dynamic AI that ended up being a severe disappointment. I'm pleased to say that that's not the case with Forever Winter. Mostly. Look, this game is early access, and some may argue maybe it's a little too early access. Unfinished animations, holes in the maps, questionable collision, server issues, performance issues, all the usual fixings of a game in early access are there. Yet, despite it all, as I was playing, I could feel the bones were good. I mean, I was hooked straight from the tutorial. I'm not kidding. The tutorial sets the mood and expectations of the game perfectly. They give you a gun, tell you how to shoot, show you what loot looks like, and then just say, survive, and proceeds to send an endless wave of enemies after you until you extract or get killed. This game has a lot of potential, and I can't wait to see what it becomes as they get closer to 1.0 release. The question is, what is my rating, and should you pick it up? I'm going to preface my evaluation with this. Forever Winter is early access. I would argue they should have let it cook a little bit longer before launching it. So my evaluation is tentative, and by no means a final evaluation of the game. As it stands now, I give Forever Winter a C+. Impeccable art direction and design, killer soundtrack, and world building. But it's just barely not a game yet. I don't see myself playing much more of it until they fix some glaring and performance and network issues. The AI gets refined, and they reconsider the water degradation / water death system that punishes you for not playing the game daily. No one wants to babysit a post-apocalyptic Tamagotchi. Should you pick it up? Wait a bit on this one. If you trust the process and want to support the devs, go ahead, grab it, try it out. If the vibe doesn't mesh with you now, it probably won't once they fix its core issues. But if you're willing to be a little bit patient, I'd wishlist it on Steam and let it cook for a bit before jumping into it now. That's it for me. As always, thanks for watching.